is it a buyer's market? Is it a seller's market? I keep hearing all sorts of different opinions and different talking heads say different things about the real estate market. So at the end of the day, all I can give you is what my perspective is on what's going on here in the Central Indiana real estate market. And like I try to do each and every month with this market watch, that is what I'm going to do today. Once again, this is Andy Liechty with Andy Liechty and Associates, a part of FC Tucker. And as I come to you each and every month with a market update, wow, you talk to 15 different people, you get 15 different perspectives of what's going on in the market right now. While I think each individual perspective does have merit, I also think that looking at the data and looking at a longer term outlook of what's going on, where we've been, where we're going, and what the trends are really helps give us the most complete, clear vision of what's happening. So what I'm going to do is I do with all my monthly market watches, I'm going to kind of update what's going on here based on it's June 15th right now. So this is May's real estate stats here in Central Indiana. So kind of interesting things for the data for this month, in my opinion. So right now in Central Indiana, we compare from May of 2023 to May of 2022, there were only 18.4% more homes for sale this month as compared to a year ago. And that's really interesting when you consider that back in January, available homes or inventory was up 92.5% at that same time. So in 5 months, we've really seen the number of homes for sale not go up nearly as fast. And in Hamilton County, that's the same thing. Homes for sale in Hamilton County in May were up 34.7%, where in January they were up almost 260%. And then in Marion County, the number of available homes are up 22% compared to a year ago. But back in January, that number was 90%. So, and I'm going to go back and do some other data as well too. But I kind of want to touch on this piece right now. We are seeing fewer homes hit the market this year. And obviously that's because people are maybe deciding they don't want to move right now, with rates being maybe just a little bit higher, actually quite a bit higher than they were a year ago. It's kind of put a freeze for some people's moving plans. This is actually where the opportunity can come in for some buyers right now. With the market slow, with homes, not as many homes being on the market, and the homes aren't selling as much. We have home sales down really a little over 22% across the board in Central Indiana, Hamilton County, and Marion County compared to a year ago. So we have just not as many homes coming up for sale and fewer sales. That means that buyers have more time to look at properties right now. In fact, if you look at the days on market now compared to a year ago, homes are actually taking about 1.5 times longer to sell. I think 157% basically longer to sell than they did a year ago at this time. So that means that buyers do have a little bit more choice in the matter. We are seeing homes sit on the market a little bit longer. Now, you hear some people that will take this information and say, hey, we're in a buyer's market right now. Statistically speaking, that's still not accurate. We are still in a seller's market, but we're not in an insane market like we were 12 months ago. And just to kind of provide an example of that, some of you have heard me talk several times about months of inventory. And months of inventory is how they determine really if we're in a buyer's market or a seller's market. And just to give you a baseline, anything less than 4 months of inventory on the market is considered a seller's market. and anything more than 6 months of inventory on the market is considered a buyer's market. So where are we at right now here in Central Indiana? And I'm going to go even just by price points. I'm going to compare it to actually 4 years ago. So if you look at homes that are between $300,000 and $500,000 here in Central Indiana, the months of inventory on the market right now is 1.2 months of inventory. A year ago, it was 0.7 months of inventory. So it's almost double months of inventory, but well below the 6 month threshold needed to be considered a buyer's market. In fact, even 4 years ago, when the market was a little bit more normal, that number was only 2.3 months. So we're not even halfway there in terms of months of inventory in the $300,000 to $500,000 price point that we were even 4 years ago. When you look at homes between $500,000 and $1 million right now in Central Indiana, there's 1.3 months of inventory. Again, a seller's market is considered anything less than 4 months. So we're still well into a seller's market, but it is about 40 to 50% higher than it was a year ago. So while it's trending toward a buyer's market, we're still solidly in a seller's market. And we're not even close to where it was 4 years ago, which was 4.3 months of inventory. So I'm throwing a lot of numbers out at you right now. What does that really mean? In my opinion, in my opinion, what it means is we are slowly getting our way back to a more typical market, a more quote unquote normal market. We're not seeing home prices rise as fast as we have the past 6 to 18 months. In fact, in Central Indiana, home prices are up 6% compared to a year ago. Now, compared to 4 years ago, they're still up 48%. But again, we're seeing that come back down. Historically, Indiana's usually had about a 3 to 4 to 5% annual appreciation, and we're starting to get back to that. So again, all of the pieces in play here, when you look at inventory rising but not quite as fast, home sales down, speed of the market is slowing down a little bit, and home prices, while still going up, aren't going up as rapidly. That means that we're starting to kind of get through some of the unique times that we've experienced in the past 2 to 3 years. So what does this mean if you're someone that's looking to make a move? Well, ultimately what I think it means is you got to get back to basics. You got to get back to the fundamentals. If you're a seller, you probably heard me say it before, selling a home is 2 things. It's a price war and a beauty contest. And you also need to be able to know how to identify and target your ideal buyer. Those are things that we specialize here at Andy Leakey and Associates. And as you put your home on the market, being able to position your home in that way is going to become more and more critical. If you're a buyer, what are we looking at right now? Well, buyers, you may start to see you have a little bit more choice in terms of options for sale. You may not have to make a decision in 16 seconds to buy a home. In some instances, we may see that, but you may have a little bit more time. I just sold a house in Carmel earlier, actually the end of last week, and the home was on the market for about 4 days. And my people wound up paying list price for it, which right now in the last 90 days, the average sales list price ratio is about 100%. So about list price is what people are paying, but it's far less than it was a year ago. But there was good activity on the home, but no other offers but ours. And so we were able to make a full price offer and secure that home. And they were also a VA buyer getting a VA loan. That would have been unheard of, I would say, even 60 days ago. So again, we're starting to see things become a little bit more normalized. Buyers, that doesn't necessarily mean it's a time for you to lowball, but it does mean that you can be a little bit more selective and both in the homes that you want to see and in your ability to make a decision. You may have a little bit more time to get a little bit more clarity on it. So ultimately, with all this information here that I'm kind of throwing at you in kind of rapid speed here, the big takeaway that I want you to have is that We're starting to settle back into kind of a normal groove, and some of the shortcuts that sellers could take, where they're not going to be able to take those. I think, is generally speaking, as we start to move forward, and also buyers, while you may have a little bit more flexibility than you certainly had a year ago, inventory is still down from 4 years ago. We have about half the number of homes for sale in Central Indiana that we had 4 years ago. In Hamilton County, 35% of the homes for sale. So there's still not a lot of selection compared to 4 years ago, but there is more than a year ago. So at the end of the day, if you're thinking about making a move, if you're trying to figure out if now's the right time, I encourage you to consider this data. If you want to reach out and give us a call, or comment down below on maybe what your thoughts of the market are, we'd love to get your opinion. And as always, if you know somebody that's thinking about making a move, we're never too busy for your referrals. Thanks so much.